presentation of TFNN. The Tom O'Brien Show is produced every business day. Tom takes your phone calls toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-873-7618.
Let's go to Ben in San Jose. Ben, what's going on, brother?
Hey, Tom, how you doing, man?
I'm doing great, man. Yourself?
I just wanted to thank you and your team and everything. I've been using your technique with the 10-minute charts, watching the VIX, and just making a fortune here on the futures.
Isn't it interesting? That's awesome, man.
It's wonderful. Thanks, Tom. I appreciate it.
Okay, man. Have a great one. Have a safe one.
Now, Tom O'Brien.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Tommy O'Brien, coming to you live from TFNN. S&Ps, we kick off Monday trading with negative action. We got some tariff concerns. Let's kick it off with some price and volume. How about it? We know we got markets in the red this morning. We have yields rising a bit, but you have the S&Ps right now negative by 60 points, which is almost 1%. And man, with an hour left to go in trading, you have some volume on this pullback. We've almost done 1 million contracts already in the S&Ps. Now, Wednesday, we only had trading until 1. Okay, but even backing it up, Tuesday of last week, we've already done, not already, but we're right next to it in terms of more volume today than we did on Tuesday. And you got 1.265 is the big number out there from Monday and then the prior Friday and Thursday. But we are pulling back with some volume right now. S&P is off about 1%. We jump over the NASDAQ 100, off 0.9%, and pretty similar action. Just as much volume as we did the whole day Tuesday. 402,000 contracts, and we're coming into the last hour trading. Dow really accelerating, off by 1.2% right now. The Dow does far less volume than any of these other indices. 65,000 contracts, but same thing, right where we are on Thursday, and the Russell really taking it on the chin. The Russell off by 1.7%. Yeah, but not that much on the volume on the Russell, actually. But boy, we got some volume, you got some volatility, and let's jump over to the headline. New set of tariff rates ahead of that August deadline. So the deadline was July 9th. That gets extended until August 1st. Okay? But you're talking about new levies of 25% on Japan and South Korea beginning August 1st. Now, it's a negotiation. They're looming. But that's the number. And how about 25% on Malaysia and Kazakhstan? South Africa, 30%. Laos, Myanmar, 40%. Right? And I guess there's going to be more of those letters to come as well. But after a 90-day reprieve, the reciprocal tariffs will lower to 10%. Now we got the new numbers that are coming August 1st if there's no deal made in 30 days. Or what do? Or we push it back, right? The market has to enjoy it's getting pushed back, but what if it starts getting pushed back on a rolling basis? We'll see if it plays through. We got a little concern in the markets today, but all things considered, folks, there is concern in these markets. But let's be real about this, okay? This would have been essentially an all-time high. Where did we get to on those highs last year? Yeah, 61.62, 61.66. You're 100 points above all-time highs, right? All we've done is given back Wednesday and Thursday. There's no real pullback just yet in this market. We are at some lofty prices, man. But we got a little pullback going today. We jumped to yields. 4.4, just like that, from 4.19. And the dollar catching some strength. Now, we've seen bids before, but we have not seen a momentum change since the beginning of the year on the dollar. You take a longer-term picture of that dollar, okay, we're well below the lows we've had in the last couple of years. You go even bigger than that. And yeah, what's in the way of this, right? We'll see. Jump over the VIX this morning. And yeah, we have a spike to 1794. We go to a 15-minute. You're as high as almost 1850. Now 1850 on the dot. And we have a slightly elevated VIX, but all things considered. All right, and let's jump around to the stories of the day. So we had a question in the den. Yeah, Royal Gold, I was going to say Rand Gold. They're buying Sandstorm. Okay, and what's remarkable here is is that you look at this equity down by 7.7% right now. They're paying $3.5 billion for one of the strongest equities out there, man. You look at Sandstorm, okay, they're up by 6.2% on this news. Had been reported to a degree last week or earlier in the month, I think, so this was already priced in somewhere in this equity. But yeah, you're talking about a run, okay, when many equities have been doing one-to-ones. This thing is blowing past a 1 to 1.618 expansion. We were already pushing highs. You know, another one that this reminds me of is Kinross, which has also been one of the strongest ones out there as well. Whoops, KGC is their symbol. And look at this equity in the same way. Just over a 1-to-1, but you are pushing highs, man, at 1593 Kinross. And gold in particular is holding up very well. On a day that you have a dollar bounce going on, gold is up by $5 right now. You got higher yield, you got dollar strength, and gold trading higher, up by $5 as you get some tariff volatility. Now, speaking of volatility, Tesla. And boy, so Elon's going to start a third party. We see how the stock can trade with volatility. Okay. And you're back at a critical area, though, right where we were when he had a throwdown with the president on Twitter on June 5th, that acceleration. But this is the important critical area that we had for highs, going back to the high of March 26th, the highs in late April. To back it up more than that. So the cool part about a trade like this in Tesla, right, you can see how many times, right, this 300 number. You back it up, that was the high of July 2023. Yeah, right in here. That was the high late 2022. $300 was literally the high in January 2021. So you're at this critical area in Tesla on longer term. Yeah, that's right where we are. Okay, you break below there. There's some real volatility in this equity, but the cool part about it is you got your back against the wall. All right, now I say 300. You're looking to get in this equity, I would pick a stop because you see how quickly it moves $50 to $60, whether it's from 360 down to 300, down to 240 on the downside. But Tesla, down by 7%. And yeah, imagine. He's going to have both parties upset at him, and that's okay. It's supposed to be okay as a private businessman. It really shouldn't. But in the business he's in, very difficult to navigate, as we've seen, right? The politics of everything. And boy, you think politics of starting a third party? Then you're running against Democrats and Republicans while you're running this company. But hey, that's the plan. All right, we check around some of the other tech stocks. Amazon holding up well, basically flat, down 13 pennies at 223.26. Apple shares trading lower, though, off by 1.7%. Now, this thing was on a tear last week following the AI news, right? Last Monday, they're going to be using potentially Anthropic, OpenAI, somebody besides themselves. You accelerate up to almost 215, but today we're off by 1.8% for Apple. Google in the red by almost 2% right now. NVIDIA down by 0.5%. All right, folks, stay tuned. I'm coming right back with our man Steve Rhodes. We'll talk some markets. Don't go away.
If you spend any time online researching trading techniques on how to begin your trading journey, you've no doubt come across many folks who push Forex trading as a way to make big money quickly. Unfortunately, there are equally as many stories of these so-called Forex professionals just looking to make a quick buck off aspiring traders without actually teaching the ins and outs of the Forex market. This is what sets Teddy Keckstack's The Tiger Forex Report off the riffraff. Every Monday, former Chicago Mercantile Exchange member and author Teddy Keckstack releases his Tiger Forex Report newsletter, where he dives into the complex world of Forex and takes time to actually teach you his methods that have made him so successful in the fast-paced and rewarding world of Forex trading. Furthermore, all subscribers receive access to archived live streams of Teddy's, where he provides university-level education to help you in Forex trading. All first-time subscribers receive a 30-day money-back guarantee. So what are you waiting for? Forex awaits.
The reality is that navigating financial markets can be risky. Markets can be chaotic and difficult to understand. Having the latest market advice can help you turn this chaos into a key for creating winning trades. At TFNN, we understand that it can be hard to find reliable market news. That's why each of our market experts offers their very own market newsletter. A must-have tool for every trader out there striving to find an edge in today's markets. TFNN newsletters cover every aspect of the markets so you can analyze the market before you trade. Try any of our great newsletters risk-free with our 30-day money-back guarantee. Just visit the Newsletters tab on the front page of TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
Are you ready to take charge of your financial future? TFNN is your gateway to the world of trading and investing. Whether you're starting out or scaling up, TFNN empowers traders and investors of all skill levels with top-notch investing systems, strategies, and techniques. It's time to protect and grow your money with insight you can trust. Join us live Monday through Friday during market hours for exclusive content that moves with the markets. At TFNN, we bring the trading floor to you. Our seasoned hosts are here to answer your calls and questions live on the air. Check out the Tiger's Den for just $1 and follow us on YouTube and become part of our vibrant community. And remember, at TFNN, we're so confident in the value we provide that we offer a 30-day money-back guarantee on all new premium newsletter subscriptions and services. You have absolutely nothing to risk, so why wait? Tune in live to Tiger TV and transform your trading journey. Because when you know better, you invest better. Join us and experience the difference today. TFNN, educating investors.
Welcome back, folks. We got the S&Ps off by 58 points right now. You have the NASDAQ 100 off by 202. And, folks, right now we're going to talk to our man, Steve Rhodes. We talk to Steve every Monday at 3:15. And, folks, right on the front page, you click on the newsletter tab, Mastering Probability by Steve Rhodes. Outstanding newsletter. New updates every morning. And usually a lot of updates in the afternoon as well. And you can sign up, folks, $149 for the month. You get a 30-day money-back guarantee. And I went in and just looked at these archive webinars that you gain access to, folks. We bring them up. But you gain access to it for 30 days. And you can access all of these as many times as you like. And this is the web member area in terms of the number of webinars that Steve has, whether you're talking about Japanese candlesticks, the oscillator unchanged line. It speaks for itself. Steve Rhodes, so many great webinars. Good afternoon, man.
Hey, Tommy, how you doing today? How was your 4th of July?
It was fantastic. I hung out with Tommy, of course. We got some beautiful fireworks. A little bit rainy, but they got him in over here. How about yourself?
Yeah, you're right. A little bit rainy. So I had planned on starting my my holiday a bit early. As soon as the show ended, we had a golf tee time at 1 o'clock. Show ends about noon. I walk out of here, walk into my backyard for a moment. It starts raining. So I sit down to start taking a look at my app to see radar-wise, where it's coming from. And I look out over my dock, and I'm starting to see the water spin. And literally within seconds, 4 or 5 seconds, a water spout appeared. Right off my deck, and watching it form was pretty amazing. And then seconds later, if it wasn't tied down, it hit two of my neighbors' docks, and everything just went flying. And then it was gone. It was here and gone, in literally seconds. But watching just the water, and seeing how what I saw was the spinning in the water, which was pretty crazy, and then it just turns into this little spout. And then comes ashore. All in a matter of seconds. So there was no early golf, let's say, on Thursday.
Not quite, yeah.
more cleanup. But, good old Mother Nature. Speaking of Mother Nature, let's talk about these how Mother Nature's impacting these markets out here. And really what I'm referring to, Tommy, this afternoon during the Trader's Edge show, one of our dinners, Mr. Z, asked a question, and didn't have enough time. Is the stock market making an important top? And the reason that one would be asking that question now is because of all of the topping patterns. So you mentioned a number of the webinars that folks have access to, subscribers have access to. And one of the patterns that I teach is the TD9 count system. Easy system to understand. Everybody should know it. Here we're taking a look at the U.S. cash indices. And right now we've got the Dow Transports, and the Russell 2000. They each have confirmed TD9 count tops. And their targets become those green oscillator and change lines levels out there. So here's the potential for a top. Now, today's close needs to be above 6204.95 for the S&P 500. So folks should write that down their pad of paper. For the NDX 100, it's 22,679.01. If price closes below those levels, they will not form TD9 count tops. And that's important for us to understand in trying to ask the question, is this a top of importance out there? The semiconductor index as well, that needs a close above 5546.54. I think we're in the NASDAQ composite 2369.73. I think we're trading somewhere near that area. So it's going to be an interesting 40 minutes here as to whether or not these tops actually form or not. If we take a look at equity futures, the ES needs a close above 6253.75. So look at that as settlement comes in at 5 o'clock, and the NQ 22,893.25. If price closes below those levels, we won't have tops, and if we don't get those topping signals, it'd be pretty hard to say that we've got a top of importance. Kind of makes sense?
It does. I'm with you. I'm writing down those numbers, Steve. I like it.
Oh, perfect. So then we could go to the index ETFs, because we've talked about the equal-weighted ETFs and their importance out here, and both the equal-weighted ETFs and the weighted, they may also form TD9 count tops. And I didn't write down the numbers on that, but we'll come back to that during tomorrow's show or in today's newsletter update. So the question is, the stock market making an important top? Here's what I would say right now as the 3:22 in the afternoon. It's making a top. Is it an important top or not? Well, This could be a top that lasts really only for 2 to 4 trading sessions. We talked about this a little bit last week when we were together, and here I'm showing the NQ. So this is the daily time frame that we're looking at. The bottom panel of this chart shows consecutive moves lower or consecutive moves higher. Right now, what I'm interested in is the consecutive moves lower. So coming off of that low that we had in April, what we can see is we've had 2 3-bar moves to the downside. So when I'm saying 3-bar, 3 consecutive lower closes. And we've had two consecutive lower closes out there. Typically in bull markets, so this is really a cool system. This is really a cool tool out here, because you don't need any kind of technical knowledge. You just need to be able to read a candle. Is this a close that was lower than yesterday? And so buy entries, buy the dips, if you'll call them, will typically take place after a 2 or 3-bar move to the downside, and that's what we're seeing here in the NQ. So is this a top? I say if the TD9 count comes to fruition at session end, the answer is yes, but it still may only result in a 2 to 3-bar move to the downside. That's one thing we can take a look at. If this is going to be a move of importance, what we would also want to take a look at are those market profiles. And those profiles help us to understand where buyers and sellers are. Right now, I'm interested where the buyers are at, and that's the upper section of this chart here. And that shows the bottom, the arrows are right at the bottom, or where support is at, the buyers of those profiles. Now, we have seen where prices close for one session below a support level. It's this little where my cursor is at, but the very next session right above it. I require 2 closes above resistance or 2 closes below support for it to really be something other than a one-hit wonder, so to speak, out there. So this is one of the things that, and now, if we get a close below 22,250.75, then this may be a top of importance. But first, the market has to prove itself to us. The cash indice for the NASDAQ has only had, now this is kind of interesting because we were taking a look at the NQ out here where it had 4 of these 2 or 3-bar moves to the downside. When I took a look at the cash index out here, that's the lower left. I was kind of shocked, actually. There's only been 2 2-bar moves to the downside.
It's been a heck of a 90 days, right? Since
totally.
Yeah, seriously.
No, and the weekly chart, so that's the center portion of this chart that we're looking at. Last week, it negated a TD9 count top, and it did it immediately. The typical meaning of that, Tommy, is when you negate a TD9 count pattern, it immediately tells us about a strong upward momentum move. Now, when I say that strong upward momentum move, I mean that, but I also mean you need to know what's going on above you, and in this case here, it would be the monthly time frame. Turns out that the monthly time frame last month, the month of June, negated a Rhodes Momentum Indicator top. So I've got no top on the monthly and no top on the weekly, and maybe a TD9 count top at the end of the day. So the longer term is saying to me, maybe this is just a short-term move to the downside. I think you were kind of insinuating that just a little bit, as I was listening to your the first segment that you were doing today. Another thing that I've got out here is if we're going to have some kind of important top, the Dow and the NDX 100 are typically going to top at about the same time. And that's what these little dashed yellow horizontal lines is. The only time that we really didn't see that take place was back in 2000. In 2000, we got a top in the Dow around January 10th, and in the NASDAQ, it was around March 13th. And so at this stage here, if the NASDAQ is not forming a top, there's no way that I can say that the Dow is forming an important top. So I'll leave it right there.
Great stuff, man. I love the way you break it down, those levels. And yeah, quite a 90 days, man, percentage-wise. My goodness. I mean, but that is astounding when you think about, 90 days, man. You can't find more than 2 days in a row negative action on that NASDAQ.
Yeah, and one other thing, Tom, just to point out here is that we are at new all-time highs, not today, but as of Thursday, in the advanced decline line. And, typically that's not how tops form either, major tops.
Steve, great stuff, man. I look forward to the program tomorrow. Have a great night.
Take care, Tommy.
Take care. Folks, check out Mastering Probability. Check out those webinars. We'll be right back.
To focus on a narrow set of equities or commodities. While this works for some, it oftentimes misses many opportunities that possess huge gain potential. But how is an independent trader supposed to scan the entire market looking for these hidden opportunities? One simple answer, the opening call newsletter. Basil Chapman, developer of the Chapman Wave trading methodology, has been trading the markets for longer than most trading influencers have been alive. And over that time, he has honed his methodology in order to accurately call movements in a wide range of equities, from semiconductors to uranium to key indices and so much more. Basil is old school, taking the time to educate the trader while also giving his insights into key indices, selective stocks, and more. Opening call subscribers also receive access to dozens of educational live streams that can be accessed at any time for your edification. All first-time subscribers receive a 30-day money-back guarantee. So ignore the pop trading influencers and start learning time-tested technical analysis.
Steve Rhodes started his trading career as a student almost 20 years ago, and the student has now become the master. Steve won the prestigious Timer of the Year award in 2018 and barely missed that mark again in 2019, finishing at number 2 for the year. An amazing accomplishment. Steve Rhodes is committed to sharing his techniques and knowledge with anyone who wants to learn, and he shares his vast amount of trading knowledge every day in his Mastering Probability newsletter. Steve's award-winning newsletter, Mastering Probability, is delivered every trading day with updates throughout the afternoon. Sign up for Steve's market newsletter, Mastering Probability, and you'll receive access to 7 of Steve's educational webinars absolutely free. At TFNN, all our newsletters come with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have absolutely nothing to worry about. Visit TFNN.com and try Mastering Probability 30 days risk-free today. TFNN, educating investors.
Sharpening your skills as an investor is like getting better at playing a musical instrument. You have to practice, sure, but you also need excellent instruction from experts. At TFNN, you'll get advice and guidance from the authority in technical market analysis. And it's not just dry, tedious text either. TFNN airs live financial content streamed live on TFNN.com and TFNN's YouTube channel with Tiger TV, live every market day from 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern, for free. Each host is an experienced trader and gives their take on the market while taking calls and questions live from around the world. From the moment the market opens until the closing bell sounds, Tiger TV has 8 different shows with expert hosts to help you make the right moves with your money. Watch online at TFNN.com or on TFNN's YouTube channel and become the investor you were born to be. TFNN, educating investors.
This portion of the Tom O'Brien Show is brought to you by Direxion's daily leveraged and inverse ETFs. Whether you're a bull or a bear, you choose the direction. Visit Direxion.com. Investing in the funds involves significant risk and should only be utilized by investors who understand the impact of leverage and actively monitor their portfolio. They are not designed to track the underlying index or security for more than a day. Before investing, carefully consider a fund's investment objective, risk, charges, and expenses contained in the prospectus available at Direxion.com. Read carefully. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
Welcome back, folks. S&P's off by about 0.9% right now. And we got the NASDAQ 100 off by 201. Great stuff from our man, Steve Rhodes. And yeah, folks, check out Steve's newsletter, Mastering Probability. He was talking about the TD9 count, okay, the oscillator on change line. He's got great webinars on so many of those things. If you want to learn more about him, just subscribe to Mastering Probability. You get to watch all those webinars as part of that package, and you get it for 30 days risk-free. All right, so the man Elon, down by 6.8% today. And interesting, you got an article out from the Journal here. When it rains, it pours on Mr. Musk. And yeah, this one's talking about just Elon in China. And the headline speaks for itself. Elon Musk is running out of road in China. Tesla falls behind the local competitors it helped create. And of course, the politics of the U.S. in focus there as well. But yeah, I'd say they're already that's a big problem, man. The Chinese competitors, they are growing dramatically in China, and the road's running out and may have already ran out. Now they got some interesting hot takes in this article, okay? Chinese consumers say Teslas increasingly feel tired and out of touch with local tastes. Chinese EVs now come with multiple big screens to watch films and play games, refrigerators to keep cold drinks in the car, cameras for selfies. It's amazing, man. This stuff is all coming. And then you have the cars that are able to charge faster, potentially, than a Tesla. Tesla's Chinese staff had voiced concerns to headquarters about the company's aging products, sluggish responses. Those employees, the China-based employees, said. And yeah, they got a problem in China, man. And they got a problem everywhere right now. Tesla's global sales have slowed, and Europe is particularly hard hit. You look at China here in gray. I mean, it's just a tough one when you're telling a growth story. And then you look at BYD, you look at others, but yeah. Some of these competitors, man. It's going to be interesting to see how this goes when you're talking about self-driving, of course, and then you talk about these vehicles coming to the U.S. and the trade concerns that go on there for obvious reasons. All right, you talk a little politics, and the Houthis, they're back at it in the Red Sea, as if we need more skirmishes going on. But yeah, the Houthis attack a ship in the Red Sea for the first time since Trump announced a truce. And Israel strikes the Houthi-held parts of Yemen for the first time since the end of that war. Which was what? A week ago, 10 days ago? When was the end? 12-day war and 12-day pause. Always a potential with the market price where it is right now. All right, let's jump around to some other equities right now. And yeah, some of those gold equities. Tim Ward had talked about this one. Look at the volatility, though. All right. Now, the tough part about this one, folks, okay? They're talking about this one in the den. It's a similar deal to almost what you'd handle if you were in a Vista, okay? You get these exploration stocks, all right? Exploration, development, and production of gold and silver. Copper, lead, zinc is in there as well. Don David Gold Mine, two production stage, 4 exploration stage. This company's only valued at $100 million, folks, okay? And pulling up a daily here, okay? There's a lot of days where this equity that's only priced at 60 pennies, okay, this is one of the risks when you really start getting into these equities. They happen with Vista in the same way, okay? You're talking about, so Gora's $100 million. Vista Gold is probably close, man. Vista Gold's a $124 million company. Okay, very comparable when you're looking at these gold exploration plays. Okay. Vista some days is doing 413,000. Look at this, no volume whatsoever, right? 306,000. That day you sold off, you did 5.7 million. Okay. Last Monday and Tuesday, you did 300,000 and 377,000. You go over to Goro, all right, you trade small amounts, this is not a problem. But it's something you want to consider in terms of how much of an impact you can have as an investor when you're looking at the daily volume for an equity that trades at pennies. Okay, you're not talking about a company like Apple trading at $200. You're talking about a company trading at pennies that's only doing 455,000 shares, 480,000 shares. Well, folks, if an equity's trading at 50 pennies and you're doing 800,000 shares, that means the entire day's volume is $400,000 worth of trading. That's the entire day's volume is 400 grand cash prices, right? Let alone when you put things on a 30-minute, and then you see on some of these lower levels, and you are seeing how the volume's driving an upside, but look at on a 30-minute. Sometimes you're doing 20,000 shares, 21, 5,000, 1,600 for an entire 30-minute period. Okay, these are risks when you're looking at these equities you got to be aware of, because there's risk getting out of these equities, and there's risk from manipulation in the same way. Now, this thing is on fire, man. You're up by 8.9% today as they trade higher. Vista not happening, okay, but you see the type of pullbacks that are possible when you're in these equities, because we still don't know really what that was. That was selling, folks. That's what that was. That was selling in an equity that can't absorb that type of selling. Now, I'm not sure why somebody went there and did that as opposed to trying to get out of there with a more methodical approach. But anytime you're in some of these equities, okay, you're talking about a drop of 15% when one seller comes in with some real volume. And in the same way, getting out of some of those equities, it's very difficult to do with any type of substantial shares. So keep that in mind when you look at some of these equities. They're trading at 60 pennies. They're up to 75, okay? You have substantial positions in these equities. It is very difficult to move out. Gold up by $6. We check back in on yields in focus. Yeah, probably just under 4.4 right now on the 10-year, and you jump over to the dollar right now. Ooh, backing off a bit. All right, dollar 97.45 right now as we come into the final 22 minutes of trading. Amazon holding up well today. Not Apple, though. Yeah, down by 2% right now. Google, tough day for Google as well, down by almost 2%. Meta in the green. How about it? Up by 0.1%. NVIDIA, negative 0.6%. All right, Oracle trades lower on the open, off by 1.8%. Some of these AI companies, look at Dell. Look at the get back on Dell, man. Volatility. Dell, negative by 0.8% right now. Yeah, not Uber. Uber's up by 3%. What's going on with Uber? DoorDash up by 3%. All right, we'll take a look at these equities. Uber, DoorDash. We'll be right back, folks.
If you're looking for potential trading setups in the stock market, then Rocket Equities and Options Report is a newsletter you should try. Tommy O'Brien delivers options and equity trades when the markets present them, using a combination of fundamentals and technicals. Sign up for Rocket Equities and Options Report today with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to risk. For all the details and to start your subscription today, visit the front page of TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors. For traders who crave risk, Direxion's daily leveraged and inverse ETFs provide opportunities to magnify short-term perspectives with up to 3 times a daily leverage, utilize bull and bear funds for both sides of the trade, and trade through rapidly changing markets. These are highly leveraged ETFs with daily resetting designed for short-term trading, not long-term investing. Whether you're a bull or a bear, you choose the Direxion. For up-to-date pricing and performance, go to Direxion.com. Investing in the funds involves significant risk and should only be utilized by investors who understand the impact of leverage and actively monitor their portfolio. They are not designed to track the underlying index or security for more than a day. Before investing, carefully consider a fund's investment objective, risk, charges, and expenses contained in the prospectus available at Direxion.com. Read carefully. Distributor Foresight Fund Services, LLC.
The reality is that navigating financial markets can be risky. Markets can be chaotic and difficult to understand. Having the latest market advice can help you turn this chaos into a key for creating winning trades. At TFNN, we understand that it can be hard to find reliable market news. That's why each of our market experts offers their very own market newsletter, a must-have tool for every trader out there striving to find an edge in today's markets. TFNN newsletters cover every aspect of the markets so you can analyze the market before you trade. Try any of our great newsletters risk-free with our 30-day money-back guarantee. Just visit the Newsletters tab on the front page of TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
TFNN has launched the Tiger's Den. Hosted at Discord, TFNN has been educating traders for more than 20 years with live programming hosted by a variety of professional traders during market hours. The Tiger's Den, available to all tigers and tigresses for just $1 for the year. There's no catch or added costs when you join our community of traders. Sign up today and become a part of this educational community of traders. Just visit the front page of TFNN.com.
This program is brought to you by Vista Gold, traded on the NYSE American and TSX under the symbol VGZ.
Tom O'Brien.
Welcome back, folks. We have DoorDash up by 3% right now. And you got Wells Fargo maintaining an equal weight rating, but how about a price target range from 198 to 239? Well, it was opening at 239, so we're going to juice things higher from there. But yeah, nonetheless, they get an upgrade. Dash is expected to increase its grocery market share in Q2 due to accelerating momentum across its U.S. business. That's what Deutsche Bank said as well. So they get some upgrades over there. And then you jump over to Uber. You're trading up a similar. And yeah, Wells Fargo jacking things up from 100 to 120 on Uber, so they get some upgrades on the ride share, grocery share. Look at this break from Uber, man. Let's take a look at the volume. So paltry volume last week, but you can't really judge anything from a 3.5 day week. Let's zoom in on the volume here. It's a nice pop the prior week. Oh boy, look at this. You're coming in the week of May 12th. We did 148.9 million shares just over the prior week. So 148.9 May 12th. And look at how you actually broke above where you were October 7th. So October 7th, the week of, you do 122.7 million shares. We take out that high, which is remarkable that we do it with volume, but you do. 148.9 million shares. We close it out at 91.79. We just missed closing it out on that bar. We didn't have volume anyway, and then we actually take it out last week. That's not how you want to take it out. But this week will be an important one. We've already almost done 25 million shares. Multiply that by 5, you're at 125. But yeah, you're going to want to see some volume because we are coming into this high from May 12th when you put up almost 150 million shares. But Uber's a strong equity, man. But like Steve was talking about, and like I've been talking about, man, you know, short term, okay? Look at this run, right? I mean, that's a remarkable statistic Steve put up, talking about no more than 2 days on the NASDAQ, consecutively down over 90 days. But guess what? It's driven by equities like Uber. That's up $36 from where it was trading at $60. So 40%. No, excuse me. 60%. Yeah, up 60%. But you're breaking, man. You're breaking highs. And look at the daily volume you're going to get. Now, again, you're not going to be above this day of June 24th, though. So you can see how you make that move. We're dropping. Today's going to be a big one, though. You're going to have a sign as it breaks out, and that is that all-time highs. All-time highs for Uber. Strong equity, man, up by 3.1%. We take a look at DoorDash. Not quite the same break here. You got huge volume around March. That was actually decent volume last week for 3.5 trading days for DoorDash. But you're pushing those highs as well. For some reason, I've always, when choosing between these two, and they vary dramatically, you got DoorDash going from 41 to 256 over the last 3 years or so. Look at Uber, percentage-wise, not that far off. From $20 to almost $100 now. But I've always liked Uber more. Technically, fundamentally. And maybe this streamlined business becomes all in one. But where prices are, folks, it always seems like DoorDash has this inherent risk where they're a middleman. And they're a luxury for a lot of people, DoorDash. Whether you don't have the ability to get food and pick it up yourself, but a lot of times delivery is a luxury. And that's an area where I could see people, myself included. Uber's not a luxury. It is on certain Uber Eats, of course. But it's not in the same way when you talk about the diversification of their business versus the risk out there on an equity like DoorDash. If you're looking at the two of those equities of what could be present there. Take a look at the volume in the S&P right now. All right, nothing hugely dramatic. You're at 1.03 million. On the S&P, NASDAQ, yeah, you're going to have a decent day, but it's going to be right in line with where we've been recently. You pull back with 483,000 contracts on Monday, and today's probably going to be a similar number by the time you get through the last 13 minutes. So Wednesday we get Fed minutes. The dollar just hanging out. Gold up about $6 right now. All right, we'll check out some other equities. You got Boeing shares challenging the recent highs. We're at 217.95, up a full percentage point today. But yeah, no real conviction. Last time we had volume was June 27th. You trade up to a high of 214.81. Volume's just dropped off, even today. And look, we're going to do as much volume today as we did for a half day on the day before July 4th on Boeing. Put it back to a weekly. You rip lower on the plane accident that took place, and we're testing those highs yet again. You're talking about pulling back with 70 million shares. But even if you look at how you popped on almost 40 million shares, and we've only done 5 million. Look at that. All right, we're getting above this bar from June 23rd. Yeah, that's because of this. No, it's not. It's because of this bar right here. We did 15 million in a day. We got live volume on Boeing pushing these highs yet again. We're up by 1% today. You're coming into June 9th when you did almost 10 million shares, 9.4 million shares. That's where we're coming into right now. You close above there on this day, that's not how you break the high. We're going to do about 5 million on Boeing. Take a look at some of the airlines. American down 1% right now. Delta down almost 2% right now. United Airlines down 1.7%. JetBlue, watch out. Small numbers. Percentages can be deceiving with small numbers, right? Down 16 pennies, but that's almost 4%. Yeah. JetBlue trading at 429, and watch out for that equity, folks. Take a look at some of my other favorites. Kohl's, down by 3.2% for Kohl's. TJX down about 0.7% right now. We jump over to Mickey D's, down about 0.3% right now. Retail, Target down by 2.4% today. Look at that strength in Walmart, man. Walmart, strong like bull, up by 0.7%. All right, we got about 10 minutes left to go in trading. One more segment. S&P is negative by 55 points. Stay tuned, folks. I'll be right back.
Many trading newsletters attempt to focus on a narrow set of equities or commodities. While this works for some, it oftentimes misses many opportunities that possess huge gain potential. But how is an independent trader supposed to scan the entire market looking for these hidden opportunities? One simple answer: the opening call newsletter. Basil Chapman, developer of the Chapman Wave trading methodology, has been trading the markets for longer than most trading influencers have been alive. And over that time, he has honed his methodology in order to accurately call movements in a wide range of equities, from semiconductors to uranium to key indices and so much more. Basil is old school, taking the time to educate the trader while also giving his insights into key indices, selective stocks, and more. Opening call subscribers also receive access to dozens of educational live streams that can be accessed at any time for your edification. All first-time subscribers receive a 30-day money-back guarantee. So ignore the pop trading influencers and start learning time-tested technical analysis.
In the world of trading, only a few names stand out like Larry Pesavento. A pro's pro with over 50 years of experience, Larry has seen it all. A former Chicago Mercantile Exchange member, Larry has authored 10 books and trained over 1,000 traders with his unmatched expertise. Introducing Fibonacci 24/7, Larry Pesavento's daily trading service that turns the complexity of markets into opportunities. Published every Sunday, receive a comprehensive report packed with detailed commentary, charts, and videos that illuminate the patterns shaping the markets, with updates throughout the week exclusively for subscribers. Whether through charts or videos, Larry's analysis is your roadmap to navigating the markets. You can sign up now at TFNN.com for just $97. And with all TFNN newsletters backed by a 30-day money-back guarantee, you have nothing to risk. For all the details, visit TFNN.com. You'll find Fibonacci 24/7 right under the newsletters tab.
The reality is that navigating financial markets can be risky. Markets can be chaotic and difficult to understand. Having the latest market advice can help you turn this chaos into a key for creating winning trades. At TFNN, we understand that it can be hard to find reliable market news. That's why each of our market experts offers their very own market newsletter. A must-have tool for every trader out there striving to find an edge in today's markets. TFNN newsletters cover every aspect of the markets so you can analyze the market before you trade. Try any of our great newsletters risk-free with our 30-day money-back guarantee. Just visit the newsletters tab on the front page of TFNN.com. TFNN. Educating investors.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV.
Welcome back, folks. About 5 minutes left to go in action. We got the S&P sketching a little bit coming into the closing bell here. We're pushing right where we were at about 12:20. You're testing the highs of where we were at 2 o'clock, the highs where we were at 3 o'clock as well. And we're trading right now off 53 points. But you were as low as 62.46, so you've gotten back almost 25 points, and you see the selling coming in. You see the volume in the last 5 minutes or so with the S&Ps off 0.8%, NASDAQ 100 off by 0.8% as well. All right, we talk a little bit of cash. Let's talk a little bit of poker as the main event is taking place in Las Vegas, folks. This is the 2025 World Series of Poker main event. You put up 10 grand, you can be the main event champion as well. And what will you be playing for? How about $86.3 million is the total prize pool. They have about 9,500 entries. Now, the field is still not together yet. They're playing the second day 2. So you have 4 day 1s, okay? And then they take half the field and play a day 2. They take half the other field, play the second day 2. And then finally, they unite the entire field on a quote-unquote day 3 for everybody. It'll be the third day of poker. Everyone is playing simultaneously, even though you broke it up, right? 4 day 1s, 2 day twos. The field finally comes together tomorrow, I believe. So they're still on the second day, too. But yeah, you're talking about almost 10,000 players, $86 million total. The winner will probably walk with $8 or $9 million is usually what it is. Something like 10%, 12% of the total prize pool. But yeah. And if you ever want to watch some of that, folks, they air it on YouTube. Okay, they do. But Poker Go is a service if you're ever watching, and they are a bunch of tournaments, and the World Series is great. You can go back. You ever want to watch and figure out how to play poker, folks? Watch people how these pros play poker. Nothing like learning from the best in whatever you're doing. All right, markets clawing it back. We're almost at finishing at session highs that we haven't been at since 1:30. NASDAQ 100 off 175, S&P's off 49. Folks, have a great night. Have a safe night. We'll see you back here tomorrow morning with the morning market kickoff at 9 o'clock. Have a great one, everybody.
Building wealth